Welcome back to the channel, guys. Behind me is one of my favorite platforms that GM has developed, the 2008 C6 Z06. The LS7 platform is a 7.0 liter, 427 cubic inch, naturally aspirated engine from the factory. They're rated at 505 flywheel horsepower. They make usually around 430 to 440 rear wheel horsepower on our dyno. And Mr. Stradley has kept his in mint condition like most of our customers do. 2008 with only 29,000 miles on the odometer. And he called us looking for more horsepower, more performance, but wanted to do it reliably. And because the car is, 16 years old, wanted to do what we could do to ensure that the life of the vehicle and drivetrain components would continue even with extra horsepower added to it. So we did what is our most common LS7 package. It's our full heads and cam package. Get rid of the factory lifters. Essentially, we change everything needed minus the short block. The stock crank, rods, pistons, and block is the only thing that's left. Everything else gets upgraded and freshed so that this car behind me with 30,000 miles on it can then run for another 100,000 miles, with just this exception of checking valve springs every 25 to 30,000 miles is what I recommend to my customers. But let me show you a little bit under the hood and show you what we did to this one. So Mr. Stradley called us, like I said, wanting more performance, but then wanted the reliability and asked about like stuff to upgrade that we could, because the car is an older vehicle. Not that it has a lot of miles on it, but because it is so old, there are things that do just fall apart over time when you work on them. So we did our complete heads and cam package. As always, we recommend changing the lifters out as well as front balancer. And then when we're doing a package like this of this caliber, depending on what the customer is doing with it, we always upgrade the clutch as well. So you have our CNC cylinder heads, which again, the LS7s were known for the guide issue of dropping valves. So we obviously take care of that with our complete CNC cylinder head, custom grind camshaft. And Mr. Stradley isn't looking for maximum horsepower, just wanted a nice solid gain while keeping it reliable at 93 octane. So the cylinder heads aren't milled. We didn't raise the compression up anything crazy. He wanted to keep it on 93. The camshaft, I'm not going to say it's small because it is a large camshaft, but it isn't this crazy huge cam that we would do for a max effort LS7 camshaft. We have done several of these builds that do make 600 to 630 rear wheel horsepower, but that's from doing a little bit different work to the cylinder heads as well as the camshaft with different fuel. Moving forward, obviously we see the MSD intake manifold on it. It's way better airflow over the factory LS7, as well as the larger 103mm throttle body with the beautiful Corsa carbon cold air induction system. And on this one, again, the balancer isn't needed to be changed, but because we're already there taking the camshaft, we're pulling the stock balancer off, we have to remove the rack to install the camshaft. You might as well put something on that's gonna last. So we do the ATI dampener like we do on all of our other builds that we do. And again, just for reliability purposes, Mr. Stradley's not going to the drag strip. He's not gonna road race this thing on the weekends, but with the extra power, because we had it taken apart, why not upgrade the clutch while we had it here? So we went ahead and did a twin disc clutch as well, and a MGW short throw shifter in it. So this thing drives like butter. Again, it's hard to explain through a camera when I drive these cars how good they feel and how good the shifters feel. The 08s are the first year of the TR6060 transmission. The 05 to 07 still had the T56s in them. The TR6060 gear sets are stronger than the T56s, and boy are they fun to drive. You can bang gears in these things pretty easily once you do this every day. So again, this thing turned out phenomenal. I think we stopped around 590 rear wheel horsepower. Again, that is on 93 octane, nice and safe and reliable. Again, he wasn't looking for that extra 20 or 30 horsepower for a max effort, just to be able to have to run a little bit higher octane or maybe a little bit of E85 in it. He just wanted a reliable 93 octane car that chopped, sound good, and then also had some good gains. So you're talking 150 to 180 rear wheel horsepower gains, naturally aspirated without having to put a supercharger on it or turbos on it. That's why I say, and I might even say it more in this video, I'm sorry, but these 7 liters and LS7 platforms, as well as the LS9 ZR1s, they are very acceptable to modding. To be able to do that naturally aspirated and still have it drive almost like a stock vehicle is incredible in my opinion. 600 rear wheel horsepower, naturally aspirated, 7,000 RPMs, banging gears with 3 pedals. It's kind of hard to beat that. But so I'm gonna hop in this thing and go take it for a test drive. And actually, let me start it. Let me let y'all hear this thing idle, and then we'll go have some fun with it on the street. So for those of you that don't know, just kind of like our C7 Z06s I share with y'all with the dual mode. The C6s came from the factory with a dual mode on them, but they weren't electronic. It was mechanical. So you either had to pull the fuse if you wanted it loud all the time, or if you went and floored it above 3,500 RPMs, they have vacuum lines that run to the back that would mechanically open the valve. Well, we do it, we get and make it electronic like the new stuff. And now it sounds like a stock car. You're on the highway driving, you can't even tell anything's done to it. Then you pull into a parking lot, sounds like that. Oh, that sounds so good. Corvettes that get driven a lot, the seats are usually worn out here and here, and then when people put their arms right here, you can see just from the heat, but normally they're completely worn out. And for a car with 16-year-old, it looks in perfect shape. And it's my color too. So, Mr. Stradley, if you ever do want to sell it in the future, make sure you call me first. All right, I'm gonna hop in and go have some fun with it. Just explaining in there that was traction control on. That was first gear. You saw me hit it. You see traction control did its job. It actually hooked up. I short shifted, grabbed second, and it took off. Traction control off in this car with those tires in the back. First gear, it would do a burnout all the way down the street. So I'm gonna hop in it. I think I'm gonna try a second gear roll, which I do think it's gonna spin in second. I think the top of second, hopefully it'll hook up. And then as soon as we grab third, it's gonna 100% hook up and go through third through fourth and see, share with you guys what this thing can do. Let's see how good this thing starts. I like it. I like it. Hey, there. Sorry, you can keep filming. Film this. I just want to know, and maybe you should put this on or maybe you shouldn't. Mr. Stanley, is this what you call your baby? Is this Big Booty Judy? And thank you, Mr. Stanley, for all the presents, little gifts, the knives, the flashlights. Trust me, we ransacked it and bought for it pretty good at the shop. But I got 2 badass flashlights my kids are gonna love, so thank you again. I'm gonna go have fun. second gear. All right, we are in Mr. Stradley's super clean 2008 C6 Z06. Yes, guys, we still do build C6 Corvettes, especially these C6 Z06s and C6 ZR1s. Best platform out there. Way ahead of its time when these cars came out. They were so superior to the previous models. Mr. Stanley's only has 29,000 on the odometer, the 2008. So as you can see, he keeps this thing super clean. Very cool customer. Car got delivered to us with goodie bags in the back. I really appreciate it, sir, as well as all of our employees. But C6 Z06, we call this like our 700 horsepower package. It's our complete heads and cam package. And depending on what the customer is going to do to the vehicle determines on whether we mill the heads for higher compression, how big of a camshaft we put in it, and stuff like that. But Mr. Stradley wanted more horsepower, reliably, on 93 octane. So we did what we do best and gave him just that. I think it came in baselining 400 and I think it was 430 rear wheel horsepower, and on 93 octane we stopped. It was right at 585 or 590 rear wheel horsepower. Again, this is a car I'm in 5th gear now at 1500 RPMs, no cam surge. I could even put it in 6th gear at 1000 RPMs, and we have no cam surge. So it is a beautiful day out. I'm gonna go drive it, test drive it as always, and if I get an opportunity, I'll try to make a few runs here for you guys. Try 2nd gear, see how bad she spins.
60. Quarter mile. 130.
She rips. These 7-liter motors, guys, are incredible. As y'all know, we do so many boosted applications. So to be able to offer a package that picks up 150 plus rear wheel horsepower naturally aspirated and makes the kind of torque this thing does, these cars are so much fun to drive. Again, naturally aspirated, revving to 7,000 RPMs. And again, this car does have a big camshaft in it. I don't want to say it doesn't, but we do offer larger camshafts than this, as well as, you know, like I said, we can mill the heads depending on what fuel you want to run to get more over 600 rear wheel horsepower. You know, there are some that we do that make 600 to 630 rear wheel horsepower, but again, I like to keep them reliable. A customer that just felt fast as shit, let alone to me. Most customers are gonna have their hands full with 3 pedals doing that, and that was in 2nd gear. I took off. It is on just Michelin's on the back, so it spun really good in 2nd gear, but grabbing 3rd, grabbing 4th, it is so much fun. And it looks like, oh, we almost went a 6-second, 60 to 130. Stock, to be honest, guys, I don't know what these cars run stock. If I had to guess, probably 9-second, 60 to 130. I really wish I would have done it stock beforehand. But that right there was a 7.0, and that was spinning in seconds. So if I get to hook up, it'll be a high 6-second, 60 to 130, which again, super impressive for a naturally aspirated car. Again, that you can hop in and drive every day. And again, I'll go over the full mod list here. But with the engine being out of this one, we went ahead and did the clutch in it. So we did an aftermarket clutch because, again, a car this old, not that he beats on, but with 30,000 miles on it, we want to do everything we can to make this thing reliable for the future. So he builds it with us, not only for performance, but to be reliable for now as well as in the future. So we upgrade the clutch in it. We do trunnion mods to it for the rocker arms. Obviously, all new lifters. Pretty much everything is brand new minus the short block. And yeah, we did MGW shifter in it, which actually felt really great right there. And again, I didn't no lift shift it. If it was my car, I'd no lift shift it, but customer cars I don't. And then obviously the dual mode mufflers. It's kind of hard to beat, guys, from the factory. Hit a button, can't even hear the exhaust. I know y'all can't hear it right now, but you can be on the highway and this thing sounds like stock. And then pull it into a parking lot and a simple whoop, and you hear this thing camming its ass off. So let me stop and save that. So yes, Mr. Stradley, I think he's gonna have his hands full. I think he's gonna enjoy it. Even with the clutch in it, the clutch pedal right now, when we first finished it, it was the release point was closer to the floor, but as we break it in and put more miles on it, the release pedal, the release spot from the clutch usually starts coming up, and usually it's right in the middle. So it is getting much better than it was when we first started. And besides that, yeah, this thing 93 octane in it, and you'll get it detailed. The outside's kind of dirty, so I'll get it detailed. We're gonna do a little bit more filming of it, and then get this thing cleaned up and shipped back to Mr. Stradley. Steven with a PH. I spelled mine with a V, but again, these platforms, they are perfect for modding. Like, traffic is horrible here in Houston, but it is a beautiful day, so I don't blame people out driving. But between a 7-liter or the LS9s that we do, which is a 6.2 liter supercharged, like the C6 Z06s, just from doing simple bolt-ons on them, they mod very well. So for the $1 per horsepower that I always talk about that you get from these cars, very impressive. I know it's, what is that? 12, I can't do math right now. Almost a 16-year-old car, and for it to drive this nice, and again, the reason why we do the mods that we do to him is to ensure that he can drive this thing for another 30,000 miles, 50,000 miles, as long as he changes the oil when he should, checks the oil. I recommend checking the valve springs around 30,000 miles, but there's no reason why this car won't run 100,000 miles in a row. So I'm gonna get it washed, get it cleaned up, and get it on the phone and let him know transport and get him to get it. All done, Jason. C6 Z06, Mr. Stanley, finished, out.